Little Loach. Look. Look. Your tail has fallen off. Yun Chujiu suddenly pulled her neck and shouted. The single-horned mud dragon subconsciously turned its head to look at its own tail. Then, it immediately realized that it had been tricked again. Fuck, it didn't know that its own tail couldn't fall off. This wretched girl was really too detestable. The single-horned mud dragon had been fooled by Yun Chujiu twice. The netherworld swamp poisonous frog took advantage of this opening to pull some distance away, getting closer and closer to the nest. Lord Golden Toad, when we reach the nest in a while, you can lure the single-horned mud dragon into your cave. The two of us can also help you, Yun Chujiu said softly. Although the netherworld swamp poisonous frog had never looked up to Yun Chujiu from the bottom of its heart, it could only do what it had to do now. It followed Yun Chujiu's instructions and lured the single-horned mud dragon into the open space. Yun Chujiu's mouth was not idle. It's clearly an ugly loach, but it's still called a dragon. Pooey. How shameless. It's so stupid. You believe me when I say that your tail has fallen off. Don't you have a brain? You still dare to dream of attacking Lord Golden Toad? You really overestimate yourself. Lord Golden Toad will torture you to death. The single-horned mud dragon was thoroughly enraged. Now, it felt that it did not matter whether it ate the netherworld swamp poisonous frog or not. It would first kill this stinky girl. This stinky girl's words were really too harsh. Therefore, even though the single-horned mud dragon was not good at fighting on land, it still climbed up and was lured into the pit by the netherworld swamp poisonous frog. Lord Golden Toad, spray poison on its eyes. Don't let it come up. Kill it, Yu Chi, quick, use your sword to attack its eyes too. The single-horned mud dragon did not have the leaping ability of the netherworld swamp poisonous frog, so it could not climb out of the pit for a while. It could only use its claws to protect its eyes and desperately climb out of the pit. At this moment, a sharp pain suddenly came from its back. It turned out that Yun Chujiu had secretly attacked its back with a sword. Its attention was on its eyes, so it did not expect Yun Chujiu to create a diversion. The single-horned mud dragon's weakness was its back. It immediately cried out in pain. Of course, the netherworld swamp poisonous frog would not let go of such a good opportunity, so it attacked even more fiercely. An hour later, the single-horned mud flood dragon unwillingly took its last breath. The netherworld swamp poisonous frog cried out in excitement. In this swamp, the single-horned mud flood dragon was its biggest enemy. Now that the single-horned mud flood dragon was dead, it could really dominate this swamp. The netherworld swamp poisonous frog jumped onto the single-horned mud flood dragon's body. It took a long time before it took out the single-horned mud flood dragon's demon core and swallowed it excitedly. Yun Chujiu's eyes flashed with a faint light. This fellow discovered that there seemed to be something glowing under the horned mud flood dragon's corpse. Lord Golden Toad, this damned stinky loach is really too detestable. I'll go down and hack it 49 times to vent your anger. After saying that, Yun Chujiu jumped into the deep pit. The netherworld swamp poisonous frog had just swallowed the horned mud flood dragon's inner core and was in the process of refining it. It did not have the time to bother with Yun Chujiu. It felt that it could hack it a few times and save some energy when eating it. Damn it! I told you to be smug. I told you to offend Lord Golden Toad. I'll chop you to death. Yun Chujiu gave Yu Chi a look. Although Yu Chi did not understand what Yun Chujiu meant, he probably understood that she wanted him to hide, so he blocked the vision of the netherworld swamp poisonous frog. Yun Chujiu kept cursing, but she walked towards the place where the light was shining. Yun Chujiu used her sword to pull, and the whole thing below was revealed. It was actually a formation plate, and the light was from the top-grade spirit stones in the groove. Yun Chujiu thought for a moment and understood. There was only such a piece of land in this swamp, so she could only bury the formation plate here. However, she didn't expect that this place was coincidentally used as a nest by the netherworld swamp poisonous frog. In addition, the horned mud flood dragon struggled with all its might before it died, thus exposing the array disk. Should she take it or not? Damn it, she had suffered so much, so of course she had to take it. Even if she was discovered, it had nothing to do with her. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou took all the supreme-grade spirit stones in the groove. When the last supreme-grade spirit stone was dug out, Yun Chuzhou felt a white light flash in front of her eyes. When she regained her sight, she was already on the round platform. On the round platform, young ladies and guards were teleported out one after another. Each of them had a dumbfounded look on their faces. There should be an hour left. How did they get teleported out? That's right. Didn't they say that they would be teleported out at noon? Fortunately, I completed the mission. Otherwise, it would be terrible. I wonder what happened to the array formation. Zheng Mama was also puzzled. Why did the Azura array suddenly have problems? Fortunately, everyone was fine. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. You guys go back for now. I'll go find the steward who controls the array to obtain your test results, Zheng Mama said to everyone. Everyone was happy and worried. Those who had completed the mission were naturally happy. Those who had not completed the mission were frowning. They followed Ting Mei and the others back to the courtyard to wait for news. After a long while, Zheng Mama walked into the courtyard. Everyone's gaze fell on her. There was a little problem with the test this time, so the results this time are invalid. I'll give you half a day to rest. Gather on time tomorrow, and you're dismissed. After saying that, Zheng Mama left the courtyard. Zheng Mama, why is the test invalid all of a sudden? Ting Mei asked softly as she escorted Zheng Mama out of the courtyard. Zheng Mama's face was slightly stiff. Manager Song said that for some reason, the array formation stopped working. Later, he found that the supreme-grade spirit stones in the array disk were all gone. Zheng Mama, could it be that those candidates or guards took the spirit stones? Why didn't you investigate them? Manager Song said that it was impossible for these people to do it. This Azura array is very complicated. It's impossible for them to find the core of the array. Manager Song speculated that there might have been some mistakes in the Azura array this time, so the spirit stones were used up relatively quickly, so the spirit stones were all used up. Yun Chuzhou was originally worried that someone would ask for spirit stones from her. Now that she saw that the situation was calm, she could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Those who were blessed did not need to be busy. Participating in a test actually made a small fortune. It was really great. However, she still had to think of a way to shut Yu Kai's mouth. The next day, after everyone had breakfast, they gathered in the middle of the courtyard. For the next 3 days, all of you will continue to familiarize yourselves with the Netherworld Sword Technique and the Azure Falling Sword Technique with your guards. The test will take place again in 3 days. After speaking, Zheng Mama immediately left the courtyard. The young ladies were all stunned. The test would take place again in 3 days. Could it still be entering the Azura array? However, no matter what, it was still more important to practice the sword technique first. Thus, they began to practice the sword technique in pairs. Of course, there were exceptions to this rule. In a corner of the courtyard, Yun Chuzhou was looking at Yu Qi with a smile. Yu Qi, don't you have anything you want to ask me? Yu Qi had a stomach full of questions, but for some reason, after interacting with the Azura array, he instinctively felt that it was best not to ask those questions, or else his end would be very miserable. Thus, Yu Qi shook his head. Miss Chu Chu, I have nothing to ask. Let's start practicing our sword techniques. Alright, then you go ahead and practice. Just practice that Gabriella swordsmanship. I should be able to learn it this time. Yun Chuzhou took out a chair from her storage ring and crossed her legs as she said. Yu Qi saw that Yun Chuzhou had become a little devil once again, and his heart felt more at ease. This was the right way. This was the true nature of this Lin Chuzhou. What brother? What kindness? They were all lies. Yu Qi began to practice the Gabriella sword technique in a miserable manner. He felt that these 3 days would definitely be a hellish life. Unexpectedly, he had just practiced it once. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "All right, there's no need to practice anymore. From now on, you do your thing and I'll play mine. We have nothing to do with each other. Do you hear me? Stay where you are. I'm going to bask in the sun." Yu Qi was confused by Yun Chuzhiou's words. Was there something wrong with Miss Chuzhiou's brain? What did she mean by what she said? Did she not want to pass the exam in 2 days? Yu Qi was about to say something when he saw Yun Chuzhou take out a recliner and lay on it with her eyes closed. She did not want to talk to him at all. Yu Qi could only stand aside like a wooden stake. "Go and stand over there. You stay away from me, do you hear me?" Yun Chuzhou opened her eyes and said coldly. Yu Qi didn't feel good. Although he could see Yun Chuzhiou's demonic attributes now, he felt that the two of them had fought side by side before, so they should at least have some friendship. He didn't expect Yun Chuzhou to despise him so much now. Yu Qi walked a few steps to the side in disappointment. He didn't expect Yun Chuzhou to continue. "I told you to stay away from me. Don't you understand?" Yu Qi could only take another step and then stand there. "Stay further away from me. It's annoying to see you," Yun Chuzhou said with disdain. Yu Qi could only walk to another corner of the courtyard and stand there in a daze for a while. Then, he sat on the ground and began to cross his legs to cultivate. Out of sight, out of mind. Soon, someone noticed the situation between Yu Qi and Yun Chuzhou. They could not help but discuss among themselves, "What is this Lin Chuzhou doing? Why did she send her guards over there? Who knows? I guess she has given up and doesn't want to pass the test 2 days later. That guard is really unlucky. He actually met Lin Chuzhou. This is a good for nothing." Those guards were also very puzzled. What was going on? Wasn't Miss Chuzhou a kind and good girl? Why did she chase Yu Qi to the side? Could it be that the two of them had an argument? During the afternoon break, the guards came to Yu Kai's side and asked him what was going on. Yu Qi did not say much. He only said, "Miss Chuzhou thinks that this is more efficient. I also think that this is quite good." After Yu Qi finished speaking, he felt an inexplicable sense of sadness. It was better to be tormented than to be despised like this. Those guards could not get anything out of her. Moreover, they felt that Yun Chuzhou was a kind and good girl. There must be a reason for her to do this, so they did not say anything. Therefore, in the following time, the people in the courtyard were either practicing their swords or chatting and laughing. Only Yun Chuzhou and Yu Qi were busy with their own things, like two strangers. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Everyone was anxiously waiting for Zheng Mama's arrival. They did not know how to test their swordsmanship this time. Zheng Mama glanced at everyone, then, she said, "The content of today's sword technique test is very simple. Treat your guards as people from the Tian Yuan continent. Use the Netherworld sword technique and the Azure falling sword technique to attack him. If you force him out of the competition zone within 15 minutes, you will be considered to have succeeded. The loser will be eliminated." When everyone heard Zheng Mama's words, they could not help but turn pale with fright. How could they be a match for those guards, let alone force them out of the competition zone within 15 minutes? This was an impossible task. I haven't finished my words. The guards can only dodge and not attack. So, as long as you put in your heart and learn these days, you can completely do it. Jin Ji, step out. Zheng Mama said. Jin Ji did not show any fear. After entering the competition zone, she summoned her sword and attacked her guard. The guard slightly tilted his body to dodge the sword, and when Jin Ji saw this, she stabbed again. After 15 minutes, the guard did not notice that Jin Ji had stabbed him on his left shoulder. The guard screamed out in pain, and Jin Ji was stunned for a moment before she thrust her sword towards the guard again. The guard was still unable to dodge, and the sword struck his right shoulder. Fresh blood dyed his clothes red, and the guard grunted, but did not retreat. The girls could not help but exclaim. It seemed like these guards had been given an order. They would rather be injured than retreat. If that was the case, they would have to kill him. Wasn't this too cruel? Jin Ji had obviously realized this as well. She stabbed at the guard again. This time, it was aimed at the left chest of the guard. Once it was stabbed, the guard would definitely die. The guard had already been forced to the edge of the competition zone. If he wanted to dodge this sword, he could only retreat. Otherwise, he would lose his life. The guard closed his eyes and looked like he was waiting for death. Jin Ji moved her sword a few inches away and stabbed the guard's left arm. Then, she kicked the guard out of the competition zone. Zheng Mama did not say whether Jin Ji passed or not. She just told her to return to the team. Then, she said, "Qing Lan, step out." Qing Lan's swordsmanship was much weaker than Jin Ji's, so after half an hour, she still could not hurt her guard at all. Qing Lan suddenly smiled at the guard. The guard was slightly stunned, but he did not expect Qing Lan's sword to arrive. It stabbed the guard's right leg and kicked the guard out of the competition area. Zheng Mama still did not say anything. "Zhao Wanyin, step out." Zhao Wanyin was the girl who chose the most handsome guard. After 15 minutes, she stabbed the guard's right arm. Zhao Wanyin was instantly stunned, her hand trembled slightly. Are you okay? Quickly take the pill to stop the bleeding and then we'll compete again." Yun Chujio almost laughed out loud. This person was definitely going to be eliminated. In the end, Zhao Wanyin naturally did not force that guard out of the competition area. However, she did not seem to care too much about it. Instead, she was upset that she had hurt that guard. In the following competitions, there were some who succeeded and some who failed. Some of those who failed were upset, while others did not think much of it. Instead, they were more concerned about the injuries of those guards. Mo Wanwan, Lu Qin, and Zhou Yinghan all passed the match smoothly. However, Yun Chujio could see something. Although the three guards were very subtle, Yun Chujio could still see that they had gone easy on them. This was interesting. TSK, could it be that the three little girls had fallen in love? This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Finally, it was Yun Chujio's turn. Everyone's eyes were focused on her and Yuchi. This Lin Chujio had not practiced her swordsmanship for the past 3 days and had even fallen out with her guards. She definitely would not pass the test. As expected, Yun Chujio's swordsmanship was very unfamiliar. Yuchi was able to dodge her attack with almost no effort. Yuchi was currently very conflicted. Should he go easy on her? Yuchi felt that if he went easy on her, the higher-ups would not spare him. However, if he did not go easy on her, Miss Chu Chu would definitely be eliminated. Although Miss Chu Chu was not as kind as she thought, she had already made a vow: if she became the successor of the Shengyan V, she would take care of the guards. What should she do? "Yuchi, stay away from me!" Yun Chujio shouted. Yuchi subconsciously jumped to the side. Then, there was no then. He jumped out of the competition area. Yun Chujio won in a strange way. The girls were stunned. The guards were stunned. Zheng Mama was also stunned. How could this work? "Yuchi, are you sure you are not here to make a joke?" Lin Chu Chu shouted, and you stopped. If she told you to die, would you die as well? Zheng Mama, that Yuqi is going easy on us. Otherwise, why would he jump out of the competition area just because Lin Chuchu told him to stay away? Shen Zimo said loudly. Zheng Mama also felt that something was wrong. Yuqi, tell me the truth. What's going on? If you cheat openly, you know what punishment you deserve. Yu Kai's face was calm. Zheng Mama, Yuqi, can swear to the heavens. After Miss Chu Chu shouted that sentence just now, I acted completely subconsciously. I really didn't intentionally go easy on her. Subconsciously? You're lying. You listened to her just because she shouted? Shen Zimo questioned. Zheng Mama also felt that Yu Kai's words did not make sense. She frowned. Yuqi, why did you subconsciously do that when Lin Chu Chu shouted? Yu Kai's face showed a trace of embarrassment. Zheng Mama, to be honest, I don't know how I offended Miss Chu Chu. She is very annoyed with me. She doesn't allow me to be too close to her. She has been reprimanding me these few days, so when she said that, I subconsciously stayed away from her. Everything I said is true. You can ask the others. The guard said one after another, Zheng Mama, we can confirm Yu Kai's words. These few days, Miss Chu Chu did not pay any attention to Yuqi, she also chased Yuqi to the northwest corner of the courtyard. She said that she did not want to see him. Ting Mei, is that true? Zheng Mama looked at Ting Mei. Zheng Mama, this is true. These 3 days, Yuqi has indeed been meditating in the northwest corner. Miss Chu Chu is in the southeast corner. Yes, basking in the sun. In that case, Lin Chu Chu, you should return to the team. I will announce the names of those who will be eliminated in 15 minutes. The corners of Zheng Mama's eyes twitched. This Lin Chu Chu was a big-hearted person, but such a person who did not seek improvement was a good choice. After 15 minutes, Zheng Mama began to announce the names of those who would be eliminated. Zhao Weiniang, Lu Chuyue, Chen Feier. 24 of you will be eliminated. Zhao Weiniang and the others who had failed naturally had no objections. However, some of the people who had successfully forced the guards out of the competition zone had also been eliminated. They immediately refused to accept it. Zheng Mama, I clearly forced the guards out of the competition zone. Why are we eliminated? That's right. Why are we eliminated? This isn't fair. Zheng Mama sneered, why did you get eliminated? I arranged these guards to practice swordsmanship with you, not to flirt with you. Of course, this is not a reason to get eliminated, but you shouldn't bring your personal feelings into the competition. You could have quickly forced the other party out of the competition area, but you were afraid of hurting the other party. You've wasted a lot of time. People like you who care about the feelings of your children and disregard the big picture are not suitable to be the Shengyan V. Therefore, you're eliminated. The girls' faces were red with embarrassment, anger, and regret. However, they could not say anything to refute. Yun Chujio secretly pursed her lips. What she said was rather dignified. To put it bluntly, that old bastard, Vice Palace Master Lu, was a pervert. She was alone and couldn't stand to see others get better. Could it be that she wanted to marry the successor of Shengyan V? Fuck. Maybe it was really possible. This old bastard was really shameless. Tomorrow at midnight, the 20 of you will gather here to participate in the 3rd round of the test tomorrow. I wish you good luck. Dismissed. The eliminated girls were taken out of the courtyard. With half of them gone, the entire courtyard seemed to have become much quieter. Among these dormitories, only the 4 people in Yun Chujia's dormitory remained. Chu Chu, you really hit the nail on the head. You really can't move your emotions. The person who set up this assessment is really abnormal. Mo Wanwan leaned over to Yun Chujia's side and whispered. Lu Qin and Zhou Yinghan also chimed in. Chu Chu, you're simply amazing. How did you know? It's very simple. I calculated it with my fingers. Ha ha ha. Yun Chujio said with a laugh. Seeing that Yun Chujio was unwilling to speak, Mo Wanwan and the other two did not force her. Instead, they asked, Chu, did you do that to Yuchi on purpose? How did you know that today would be a sword technique test? Yun Chujio touched her nose. You guys are thinking too much. I really just wanted to bask in the sun alone. How would I know that today would be a sword technique test? Mo Wanwan and the other two still did not believe it. They always felt that Yun Chujio had deliberately treated Yuchi that way. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? Master, you did it on purpose, right? Did you really guess the content of today's sword technique test? Xiao Hanio asked curiously. Right now, it simply admired its black-hearted master to death. How could he be so smart? He was simply too smart to be human. It's not like I know how to calculate, how would I know? However, I know the purpose of Vice Palace Master Lu, that old bastard, arranging these guards. When the final test comes, it will definitely be to test whether these young girls are tempted, so it is definitely not wrong to keep a distance. As for that sentence, it was really just a fluke, Yun Chujio explained. Xiao Hanio was about to express his admiration, then, he heard Yun Chujio continue, you don't have to worship your master too much. After all, there's a big difference in intelligence between birds and humans. You don't have to hope to be as smart as me. Xiao Hanio. At midnight the next day, the girls arrived at the courtyard on time. Their hearts were filled with anxiety and excitement. The top 3 of the third round of the Sheng NV would be able to see the Saintess. Even if they could not become the successor of the Saintess, it would be an honor to be able to see the Saintess. Yun Chujio's eyes flashed. This was the best opportunity to see her foster mother. Therefore, she had to get into the top 3 of the third round of the Sheng NV. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Zheng Mama led everyone out of the courtyard. After walking for nearly an hour, they finally arrived at a public square. There were already dozens of people waiting in the public square. Yun Chujio immediately saw Vice Palace Master Lu sitting on the main seat. She thought that it made sense. The importance of the last 3 candidates was self-evident. This old bastard naturally had to personally supervise the formation. However, she did not know what the third round of the test would be about. After everyone greeted Vice Palace Master Lu, Vice Palace Master Lu made some polite remarks. It was nothing more than asking everyone to perform well, and then he announced that the test could begin. Just as Zheng Mama was about to announce the content of the test, she saw a guard hurriedly walk to Vice Palace Master Liu's side and whisper a few words. Vice Palace Master Liu's expression changed drastically. The test will be postponed. It will be held in 3 days. After Vice Palace Master Lu finished speaking, he immediately followed the guard and left. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. What the fuck was this old bastard doing? She would have to waste another 3 days. She only had a total of 5 disguise pills. This delay would make things difficult if the deadline was exceeded. Zheng Mama had no choice but to bring everyone back to the courtyard. She couldn't just do nothing for the next 3 days, so she said, later, I will ask Ting Mei and the others to bring the rules of the Hall of the Netherworld to you. All of you recite them diligently. The day after tomorrow, I will assess all of you. Those who fail will not have to participate in the third round of the test. After everyone nodded in agreement, Zheng Mama left. An hour later, Ting Mei took out several copies of the rules of the Hall of the Netherworld and was ready to distribute them to everyone. There were very few copies of the Hall rules of the Netherworld Palace, and Mei was in a hurry to get them. It was not easy for the people in the miscellaneous department to gather 20 copies of the Hall rules, and one of them was even placed at the corner of the table. Not only was the outer cover of the book dirty, it was also dirty. Naturally, the young ladies were not willing to take the damaged hall rules. In the end, the damaged hall rules ended up in Yun Chujia's hands. Yun Chujio did not mind. This broken thing, I can memorize it after flipping through it once. So be it. After listening to Mice instructions, she told everyone not to break the palace rules. They would have to return it in the future. After everyone nodded, they took the palace rules back to their dormitories to recite. Mo Wanwan and the other two wanted to exchange the broken palace rules with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio giggled. No, no. My book is so good. Even if it's broken or dirty, no one will pursue it. Mo Wanwan and the other two saw that Yun Chujio did not care, so they did not insist and started to memorize the palace rules. Yun Chujio lay on the bed and flipped through the palace rules of the Netherworld Palace. Then, she threw it aside and took out a script to read. Chu, at this time, you still want to read the script? Hurry up and recite the palace rules. Mo Wanwan said fiercely. That's right, Chu. No one can help you by reciting the palace rules. No matter how smart you are, you don't have any tricks up your sleeve. Hurry up and recite it. You've passed all the difficulties ahead. Don't let your efforts go to waste. Lu Qin also advised. Zhou Yinghan was even more direct. She simply confiscated the script from Yun Chujia's hands and then stuffed the broken palace rules into Yun Chujia's hands. When you've memorized it, you can read the script. Yun Chujia's heart was filled with tears. Fuck, being too popular was also a burden. This fellow did not want to expose his photographic memory, so he could only sadly pick up the palace rules to hypnotize her. Not long after, she fell asleep and drooled on the palace rules. This time, Yun Chujio slept until noon. She stretched her body and was about to get up for lunch. When she accidentally caught a glimpse of the broken palace rules, she was stunned. Chu, let's go and get lunch. Mo Wanwan shouted. Okay. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and put the broken palace rules into her storage ring. Then, she hopped out to get lunch with Mo Wanwan and the others. As usual, Yun Chujio took out a few big basins to get lunch. The maid who was serving the food helped Yun Chujio pack a lot of buns and said, Miss Chujio, today's buns are filled with meat. You will definitely like them. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. I like big buns filled with meat the most. Pack more for me. As expected, the serving maid placed a few more buns into Yun Chujio's basin. Yun Chujio returned to her dormitory with a smile. After lunch, Yun Chujio lay on the bed and flipped through the palace rules. When Mo Wanwan and the other two saw that Yun Chujio had finally embarked on the right path, they stopped paying attention to her and silently recited the palace rules of the Netherworld Palace. As Yun Chujio looked at it, she turned to lie on her side, blocking their line of sight. Then, she secretly took out something as thin as a cicada's wing from the back cover of the palace rules. Yun Chujio did not look at it carefully and directly put it into her storage ring. Then, she continued to pretend to recite the palace rules. This fellow's little heart was pounding with excitement. Oh my God, there seemed to be a map on it. I'm rich. This netherworld continent was really her blessed land. Although Yun Chujio's heart was like a cat's scratch, the four of them were inseparable. She did not have the chance to look at it alone, so she could only suppress her curiosity and prepare to see what was drawn on it in the future. 2 days later, Zheng Mama began to assess the results of everyone's recitation. Reciting the palace rules was not a difficult task for these girls. Zheng Mama asked them to recite the palace rules to prevent them from doing nothing, so all of them passed the assessment of the palace rules. After the test was over, Mei Mei put away the palace rules in everyone's hands. Yun Chujio also handed over the broken palace rules. However, this fellow had already glued the back cover with paste, no one would have thought that there was something hidden inside. The next morning, everyone followed Jing Mama to the same square as last time to participate in the third round of the test. Vice Palace Master Lu and a few others were already waiting in the square. Yun Chujio had initially been complaining that Vice Palace Master Lu had delayed the time of the test last time, but now that she had benefited from it, she couldn't wait for Vice Palace Master Lu to delay it again. Who knows, she might even get some good stuff. Vice Palace Master Lu continued to say some pleasantries, and then indicated that the test could begin. The third round of the test is very simple. Other than the Tian Dao, the Netherworld Spirit is the most respected person in the Netherworld continent, so the final 3 candidates will be decided by the Netherworld Spirit, Jing Mama said to everyone. Yun Chujio was puzzled. Let the spirit of the Netherworld decide? How would they decide? Could it be that they were shouting at the sky? Just as Yun Chujio was puzzled, she heard a guard shouting, Xing Nv is here. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and looked at Xing Nv who was approaching from afar. Last time in the Tianfen wilderness, Yun Chujio did not pay much attention to Xing Nv. Now that she looked carefully, although she was wearing a veil. But the eyes that were exposed were the same as those of the adoptive mother in memory, except that they were no longer affectionate and demure, but cold with a hint of melancholy, and even a hint of hatred. Everyone bowed one after another. Xing Nv lightly said, no ceremony. Yun Chujio was more sure that this Xing Nv was her foster mother, because the voice and memory of the voice is the same. Beautiful mother, your little Jiu is here. It won't be long before we can reunite as a family. This Netherworld continent will be ours. Just thinking about it is so beautiful. Yun Chujio suddenly thought of a problem. Something was not right. The last time when she was competing in the Burning Sky Mystic Realm, she had signed up. The beautiful mother should have heard her name. Could it be that the beautiful mother did not know that she was her little cotton-padded jacket? If it was an ordinary name like Zhang San and Zhao Si, they would probably share the same name. However, it was rare to see such a unique name like hers. How could the beautiful mother not have any reaction? Just as Yun Chujio was indulging in her wild thoughts, she heard Vice Palace Master Lu say, Saintess, these are the 20 girls who are participating in the third round of the test. Please bring out the spirit shrine. The Saintess glanced at Vice Palace Master Lu with a hint of mockery and hatred in her eyes. However, she still took out a jade token and bit her index finger. Xing Nv. 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 She began to chant, with my blood, I offer sacrifice to the Netherworld. The 21st generation Saintess of the Netherworld Shrine respectfully invites the Netherworld Shrine. Yun Chujio could not help but complain. The Netherworld continent was good in everything, but it was terrible that they had to self-harm after doing something. How painful it must be to have 10 fingers connected to the heart. This damned Netherworld spirit wanted the blood of others for no reason. It was definitely not a good thing. As the Saintess chanted, the jade plate floated into the air and cast a large shadow. A palace appeared on the square. Yun Chujio's eyes glowed with green light. Oh my, you can play like this? It seemed that being a Saintess was not bad. Besides this jade plate, there must be a lot of good things. It was a good job to make a fortune. You will enter the Netherworld Shrine one by one. The top 3 who have stayed there the longest will enter the next round of the test, Jing Mama said to the crowd. The young girls had blank looks on their faces. The one who had stayed the longest. Could it be that they would be ejected out after entering? Jin Ji was the first again. She pushed open the door of the palace and walked in a little nervously. After about 15 minutes, Jin Ji was ejected out. The force of the ejection was very strong. Fortunately, Jin Ji flipped in the air, although she staggered when she landed, she did not make a fool of herself. Qing Lan, who was behind her, could not help but feel happy. Jin Ji only stayed for 15 minutes. She only needed to hold on for 15 minutes. Thus, she walked into the palace with confidence. Unexpectedly, she stayed even shorter. She was ejected out in less than 15 minutes. Moreover, her spiritual power was not as high as Jin Ji's. When she landed, she took a few steps back before she could stabilize herself. Qing Lan returned to the team with a flushed face. Shen Zimo, who was next to her, sneered in her heart. These two people were her biggest competitors. How could they be so disliked by the spirits of the netherworld? It seemed that the successor of Sheng Nv was none other than her. Shen Zimo walked into the palace with her head held high and her chest puffed out. Unexpectedly, she was ejected even shorter than Qing Lan. Moreover, the force of the ejection was even greater. Shen Zimo retreated more than 10 steps, it was not easy for her to stabilize her body. The young ladies stayed for even shorter periods of time. They would be bounced out after only a few dozen breaths. Moreover, they landed in a sorry state. Each of them was thrown to the ground with their mouths wide open. Jin Ji was initially a little disappointed. She felt that the spirits of the netherworld did not like her. Now that she saw that these people did not stay as long as she did, she could not help but reveal a smug expression. It seemed that she was the best candidate for Saintess Sheng Nv. Qing Lan and Shen Zimo's thoughts were similar to Jin Ji's. Each of them was worse than the last. It was almost certain that the three of them would be the final winners. As for the fourth round, it would depend on their own abilities. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Soon, there was only one person left who had not taken the test. It was Yun Chuzhou. Jin Ji and Qing Lan did not care. Even if Yun Chuzhou could pass the test, the two of them could still get into the top 3. Shen Zimo became nervous and stared at Yun Chuzhou. Lin Chuzhou, step forward. Zheng Mama had a good impression of Yun Chuzhou. Besides, she felt that compared to Jin Ji and Qing Lan, this Lin Chuzhou was more suitable for Vice Palace Master Lu. Yun Chuzhou walked to the entrance of the palace unhurriedly, pushed open the 2 doors and walked in. Yun Chuzhou had already thought of a countermeasure. If she wanted to stay in there for a long time, she had to arouse the curiosity of that bullshit spirit of the netherworld. That way, she could stay a little longer. Therefore, the moment this fellow entered, he shouted loudly, "Spirit of the netherworld, you've been deceived. You've been deceived so miserably." While Yun Chuzhou shouted, she was also sizing up the decorations in the palace. She saw that it was very empty inside. Other than a few columns, there were only green stone slabs on the ground. However, the patterns on them were very ancient and complex, there was a bit of a mysterious aura. When Yun Chuzhou saw that she was not immediately sent out, she was delighted. It seemed that it was effective. She had to continue working hard. Spirit of the netherworld, TSK TSK. To think that your name is so domineering. You were actually deceived for so many years. I feel bad for you. Yun Chuzhou said like a cat crying a mouse. There was still no reaction, but she was not sent out either. Yun Chuzhou continued, I don't have any other good qualities. I'm just kind. I really can't stand it anymore. To think that you, a spirit of the netherworld, would be deceived by such a thing is simply not acceptable. Yun Chuzhou rambled on, but there was still no response. Yun Chuzhou estimated that it had been half an hour, and she was sure that she would be able to enter the top 3. Therefore, she was too lazy to fool around anymore, she decided to start looking around the palace. This palace looked pretty awesome, and there might be some treasures. It was not her style to enter the treasure mountain empty-handed. She wanted to look around. She searched for a while and even knocked on the pillar, but she did not find any mechanism. It seemed that this place was just a decoration. Damn. It's so damn poor. The grand spirit of the netherworld is actually so poor. It would make people laugh out loud, okay? Forget it, if there isn't one, then there isn't one. Send me out. I've stayed in this lousy place enough. Yun Chujio saw that it had already been an hour and did not plan to stay any longer. Unfortunately, there was still no reaction from the spirit of the netherworld. Yun Chujio suddenly had a bad premonition in her heart. Damn it, could it be that this damned spirit of the netherworld wanted to trap her in here forever? Hey, spirit of the netherworld, come here, let's have a good talk about life and ideals. Big sister has a lot of delicious food here. Come out, I'll give it to you. Fuck. Come out if you have the guts. What kind of hero is hiding in the dark? No matter how hard Yun Chujio tried, there was no reaction at all. Yun Chujio sat on the ground dejectedly. She did not expect that the spirit of the netherworld would be so sinister. This guy was really ambitious. He felt a little hungry and was about to take out some food from his storage ring. With a scan of his spiritual sense, he saw the item he found in the broken palace rules. This fellow thought for a moment. Since she couldn't go out for the time being, she could take a good look at what this item was. Yun Chujio took out the item from her storage ring. She did not know what it was made of, but it was as thin as a cicada's wing. Yun Chujio looked at it and was stunned. She saw that there was a palace on the top. Yun Chujio felt that the palace looked familiar. She slapped her thigh. Fuck, wasn't this the palace on the top? Yun Chujio continued to look down. There were a few lines of words written below. They were all written in ancient characters. Yun Chujio could only recognize a part of it. Array. You, be, careful, not, good. Yun Chujio was confused. She continued to look down and saw that the interior of the palace was drawn below. It was the same as what she saw in front of her. There was only a red dot on the roof of the palace. Yun Chujio touched her chin and thought that there must be something strange about that red dot. However, there was something written on it. Should she move or not? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and put away the picture, then, she pointed at the roof and said, Spirit of the netherworld, let me tell you. I know that that is where the formation's eye is. I am a soft-hearted person. I can't bear to see your palace destroyed like this. Let me out quickly. Otherwise, I will burn with your palace. As soon as Yun Chujio finished her words, she felt a white light flash in front of her eyes. She felt proud in her heart. Little girl, no matter how sinister you are, you can't beat me. I'll deal with you after I've read all the words on the map. At this moment, the people outside were dumbfounded and confused. More than 2 hours had passed, and that Lin Chujio still hadn't come out. Could it be that she was so loved by the spirit of the netherworld? Shen Zimo's face was pale. She knew that she was definitely going to be eliminated, but she didn't expect that she would be eliminated by someone she had always looked down on. One could imagine the frustration in her heart. Suddenly, everyone saw a person being ejected from the palace. The force was obviously stronger than the previous people. That person was thrown several thousand feet away and hung on a tree in the distance. Yun Chujio slowly jumped down from the tree. This netherworld spirit was really childish. Did she think that she would take revenge on me just like that? Little fellow, just you wait. One day, I will teach you a lesson and make you obedient. Only then did everyone see clearly that the person who was ejected was actually Lin Chu. But how did she get ejected so far away? Lin Chu, why did you stay in there for so long? What happened inside? Zheng Mama received a hint from Vice Palace Master Lu and asked. After I was teleported in, I was in a daze. Then, I heard a voice saying that this girl was really kind-hearted. Although her spiritual power was a little weak, with the assistance of Vice Palace Master Lu, she would definitely be able to bring peace to the Netherworld continent for a long time. After that, I fell asleep and didn't know anything. After Yun Chujiu said that, the palace actually trembled a few times. Yun Chujiu immediately said, "Look, the spirit of the Netherworld has appeared. It proves that what I said is true." The palace trembled even more violently, and everyone hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed. Yun Chujiu also pretended to kneel down, feeling proud in her heart. "Little fellow, I'll piss you to death. If you have the ability, why don't you bite me?" The palace trembled a few more times, then disappeared, and the jade medallion returned to the saintess' hands once again. The saintess, Xing Nv, and Xing Nv also knelt down. Although Vice Palace Master Liu's expression did not change, he was very happy in his heart. Although he had been in power all these years, he always had a feeling that his reputation was not justified. Now that he had Yun Chujiu's words, he felt more confident in his heart. This Lin Chu was not bad. Whether those words were really said by the spirit of the Netherworld or made up by her, it meant that she had set her own position and would definitely be a puppet in peace in the future. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Vice Palace Master Lu had already made up his mind. The last successor of Xing Nv would be Lin Chu, but he still had to go through the formalities. Xing Nv looked at Yun Chujiu with some disgust in her eyes. This Lin Chu was obviously Vice Palace Master Liu's puppet. He would not let her be elected no matter what. Yun Chujiu was so smart that she immediately noticed the change in Xing Nv's eyes. She thought to herself, "Mother, there's nothing I can do. I have to temporarily curry favor with Vice Palace Master Lu, this old bastard. When I become the successor of Xing Nv, we can work together to face the outside world." Vice Palace Master Lu gave Zheng Mama a look. Zheng Mama announced loudly, "After the third round of testing, the final 3 winners are Lin Chu, Jin Ji, and Qing Lan. The 3 of you will immediately enter the Saintly Virgin Palace to study. 10 days later, the Saintly Virgin will personally choose the successor of the Saintly Virgin, Xing Nv." The girls who were eliminated were already mentally prepared, so they accepted it very calmly. Only Shen Zimo glared at Yun Chujiu with a resentful look. If it wasn't for Yun Chujiu, she would have been ranked 3rd, so it could be imagined how much she hated Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu moved closer to Mo Wanwan's ear. "Wanwan, can the 3 of you stay in River of Forgetfulness City for a few more days? After the 4th round of the test is over, I'll come and play with the 3 of you." Mo Wanwan nodded. "I'm fine. I'll help you ask the 2 of them. Chu, you'll definitely succeed. When you become the successor of Xing Nv, well also bask in the glory, hee. Yun Chujiu's heart warmed. Mo Wanwan was not resentful or jealous because she was eliminated. It seemed that she had a good eye for people. Yun Chujiu wanted to say a few more words when she heard a middle-aged woman say, "Lin Chu, Jin Ji, Qing Lan, follow me." Yun Chujiu did not dare to delay and said to Mo Wanwan, "A gift for the 3 of you. Wait for my good news." After saying that, Yun Chujiu stuffed a storage ring into Mo Wanwan's hand and followed behind the middle-aged woman. Mo Wanwan was stunned. After she sent her divine sense into the storage ring, she was stunned. There was actually a huge amount of netherworld stones inside. There were actually as many as 100,000 of them. Although Mo Wanwan was puzzled by Yun Chujiu's wealth, she did not reveal it. She followed the eliminated girl out of the netherworld hall. "Lu Qin, Inghan, let's find an inn to stay in. It's not easy to come here. Let's take a good look around the River of Forgetfulness City before we go home." Mo Wanwan said to the 2 of them. Lu Qin and Zhou Inghan knew that something was up when they saw Mo Wanwan's cryptic look when she spoke, so they agreed. After the three of them found an inn to stay in, Mo11 took out Yun Chujia's words and the storage ring. Fuck. Chu is actually so rich. This is 100,000 netherworld stones. He gave it to us just like that. Zhou Yinghan said in surprise. Lu Qin's thoughts were more meticulous. She frowned and said, I'm afraid Chu doesn't want to play with us, right? What else can he do if he doesn't want to play with us? Zhou Yinghan asked in confusion. Lu Qin and Mo Wanwan looked at each other. Clearly, they had guessed each other's thoughts. Lu Qin gestured for Mo Wanwan to speak first, hence, Mo Wanwan said, every time the Sheng NV selects someone they trust to take up some important positions. Chu is probably planning to let us help her if she wins. Lu Qin nodded. I think so too. Chu is full of evil intentions. She won't make us wait for her for no reason. Zhou Yinghan slapped her thigh. What you guys said makes sense. It's just that the three of us have average family backgrounds and average spiritual power. Why did Chu choose us? Perhaps it's because our family background is average. Those women from big families might not listen to Chu. Moreover, even if Chu becomes Sheng NV, I'm afraid he won't have any real power. Mo11's thoughts became more active. This was also the reason why Yun Chujio gave her the storage ring. Then what should we do? Zhou Yinghan scratched her head and looked at Mo11 and Lu Qin. Mo11 was silent for a moment and gritted her teeth. I've decided to take a gamble. Sheng NV has been able to turn the tables repeatedly and has even helped us a lot. I believe that not only will she become a saintess, she will also be able to hold real power. Lu Qin thought of a certain person and her face turned slightly red. I've also decided to follow Sheng NV. She will definitely be able to do it. Since all of you have decided to follow Sheng NV, then I'll stay as well. Oh right, do you think the words that Sheng NV said when he came out from the Netherworld Divine Hall are true? Why do I feel that this person is lying? Zhou Yinghan said. Mo11 pursed her lips. There's an 80 to 90% chance that it's fake. It's probably to gain the favor of Vice Palace Master Lu. That Jin Ji and Qing Lan will definitely not be able to win against Sheng NV. Let's just wait for the good news from Sheng NV. Many years later, the three of them recalled their decision back then. They could not help but feel extremely fortunate that they were young and ignorant. Just because they trusted one person, they made a decision that was enough to change their fates and that of many others. Yun Chujio, who was being nagged by Mo11 and the other two, was being severely reprimanded at this moment. This fellow silently recited a poem in his heart. When you cook the bean curd sobs in the pot. They are originally of the same root, so why are you so anxious to fight each other? Oh my God, you will definitely regret it in the future. The one you punished is your precious little Jiu. Lin Chu, I heard that you guys have learned etiquette. I didn't expect that you would still be skipping around when you walk. What a disgrace. Sheng NV coldly berated. Jin Ji and Qing Lan, who were standing at the side, couldn't help but gloat. They deserved it. This Lin Chu was in the limelight just now. Initially, she thought that Sheng NV would favor her a lot. She didn't expect that Sheng NV would scold her right away. He must not like her. Yun Chujio knew that Sheng NV's first impression of her was very bad. Now that she had said so much, she simply lowered her head and didn't say anything, allowing Sheng NV to scold her fiercely. Seeing this, Sheng NV didn't say anything more, but she made up her mind. No matter what, she had to find a way to get rid of this Lin Chu. Sheng NV took a sip of tea, then, she said, the three of you will learn etiquette from Mama E in the next few days. Although you have learned some before, those are just the tip of the iceberg. What Mama E taught you is the essence. All of you should learn it well. If I find out that any of you don't study hard, you will be directly eliminated. Yun Chuzhou and the other two nodded in agreement. Then, they followed Mama to their dormitory in the Saintly Virgin Palace. Mama was the middle-aged woman from before, and her face was very serious. Yun Chuzhou realized that she couldn't tell her cultivation level, so she should be above the second level of the spiritual venerable realm. This Mama should be the Bowtie's mother's confidant, so she must be tormenting me. Sigh, if I can't bear it, then I'll mess up the big plan, so I'll just bear it. Yun Chuzhou found that not only were there many guards guarding the periphery of the Saintly Virgin Palace, but there were also many hidden guards in the Saintly Virgin Palace. Moreover, their spiritual power was not low, so they were probably sent by Vice Palace Master Lu to monitor the Saintly Virgin Palace. Mama brought the three of them to a courtyard. It was very spacious and there were many rooms. There were two beautiful handmaidens waiting at the door. After bowing, they stood behind Mama. Yun Chuzhou and the other two thought that they would have to choose their own rooms. Unexpectedly, Mama said, "The three of you will stay in this room in the middle. Ji Hua and Ji Qin will stay in the side room. If you have any problems, you can look for them at any time. I won't arrange for you to study etiquette today. We will gather in the courtyard at midnight tomorrow." Dismissed. Jin Ji and Qin Lan chatted and laughed as they entered the room, leaving Yun Chuzhou on the spot. Yun Chuzhou didn't think much of it and asked the two maids with a smile, "Are we going to settle the dinner ourselves, or is someone going to deliver it to us?" Ji Hua and Ji Qin were stunned. They never thought that Lin Chu Chu would ask for food. This was a little different from her fairy-like appearance. "Miss Chu Chu, there is someone to deliver dinner." "We will inform you when it's time for dinner," Ji Hua said respectfully. "That's great. The food in the Saintly Virgin Palace must be very good. I can't wait. You must call me when the time comes," Yun Chuzhou said and hopped into the house. Ji Hua and Ji Qin looked at each other. Was this Lin Chu Chu really one of a kind? Why did they feel like she was a foodie? Yun Chuzhou entered the house and saw that Jin Ji and Qin Lan were already making the bed. The position at the door was the worst, so they left the bed at the door to Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou didn't care. She took out her luggage and started to make the bed. After making the bed, she laid on the bed and her legs trembled uncomfortably. Qin Lan's heart skipped a beat. She curled her lips and said to Jin Ji, "This first place should have been yours to begin with. I don't know what dirty tricks Lin Chuzhou used to stay in there for such a long time." Qin Lan understood Jin Ji's personality. She knew that if she said this, Jin Ji would definitely go and find trouble with Lin Chu Chu. Perhaps the two of them would start a fight. When that happened, the saint would have a very bad impression of the two of them, then, she would reap the benefits. Sure enough, Jin Ji threw away the blanket in her hand when she heard Qin Lan and walked to Yun Chuzhou's bed. However, before Jin Ji could say anything, Yun Chuzhou suddenly jumped off the bed and onto the ground. Jin Ji was shocked and could not help but take a few steps back. Yun Chuzhou had one hand on her waist, she pointed at Jin Ji with one hand. "Jin Ji, let's not get into each other's business. I don't want to get into a conflict with you. Moreover, I think your understanding of swordsmanship is very good. I have some admiration for you. Moreover, during the swordsmanship test, you didn't kill that guard at the last moment, which means that you still have some conscience. So as long as you don't provoke me, I won't teach you a lesson. But, can you please be a little more intelligent before you do anything? That white lotus is clearly trying to sow discord between us. Can't you see it? When she was competing with that guard, she even used a honey trap. It's really disgusting. One look and you could tell that it wasn't anything good. If your IQ were to come back online, you could recall the details of your interactions. Were you repeatedly used by her? I'm really worried about your IQ. Can't you tell that you're using someone else to kill someone? Right, that White Lotus, I'm warning you. All your tricks are useless in front of me. Don't waste your energy. Although Jin Ji doesn't have a brain, she's not an idiot. If you try to use the same trick again, you'll probably be beaten to a pulp. You'll have to deal with it yourself. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she lay down on the bed again and took out her notebook to read happily. She did not care about the effect of her words at all. Jin Ji was stunned for a while and stood there without saying a word. Qing Lan never dreamed that Yun Chujio would actually say such words. Although she had never heard of some words, such as intelligence, White Lotus, beating into shit, and so on, it did not delay her from understanding the meaning of those words. She was afraid that Jin Ji would see through her intentions. She quickly explained, Jin Ji, don't listen to her nonsense. Am I that kind of person? I'm really just defending you against injustice. You must not fall into Lin Chuch's trap. She's just trying to sow discord between the two of us. Jin Ji looked deeply at Qing Lan. Defending me against injustice? I remember that my enmity with Ji Yuan of the Ji family is because of your injustice. My enmity with Zhou Fu of the Zhou family is also because of your injustice. That's why my reputation in Yuanping City has always been arrogant and despotic. On the other hand, you, Qing Lan, have always been known for your gentleness and reason. I, Jin Ji, am really blind. You better take care of yourself. Qing Lan opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Now that Jin Ji was angry, it was futile to say anything. Qing Lan looked at Yun Chujio with hatred. This Lin Chujio was really detestable. Just you wait, I will definitely think of a way to get you eliminated. When I become the Sheng NV, I will not forgive you. After Jin Ji made the bed, she also laid on the bed. Her eyes were slightly red. She truly treated Qing Lan as a friend. She did not expect to be used as a fool from the beginning to the end. Master, why don't you find a chance to introduce yourself to your foster mother? Xiao Hanio asked in confusion. Yun Chujio sighed. Of course I want to introduce myself to her. However, if I tell my beautiful mother about my identity, she will definitely give herself away. If that old bastard Vice Palace Master Lu finds out, it will be bad. Moreover, the saintly Virgin Palace is full of eyes and ears. The slightest movement will be discovered, so I'd better hide it for the time being. Master, but if you keep it a secret, your adoptive mother's impression of you right now is very bad. What if you're eliminated? Wouldn't all your previous efforts go to waste? Don't worry. A small arm can't twist a thigh. Vice Palace Master Lu won't let me be eliminated. Jin Ji and Qing Lan both came from big families. Vice Palace Master Lu won't let them become saintesses, Sheng NV. So, as long as I don't make any big mistakes, this Sheng NV is mine. Yun Chujio said with certainty. Master, what will you do after you become Sheng NV? You are running out of disguise pills. Xiao Hanio asked worriedly. Yun Chujio smiled, Xiao He, Master, I already have 5 more disguise pills. I can hold on for another 2 months. What? Master, where did you get them? Someone gave them to me, of course. Did you forget that there is a spy for the gigolo in the Netherworld Palace? Yun Chujio said with a smile. Spy? Who is the spy? When did I give them to you? Xiao Hanio was extremely curious. That servant girl who was serving me food, she specially packed a few more buns for me. She even told me that they were stuffed with meat. I felt that something was fishy. When I went back to take a look, there were indeed 5 disguising pills inside. Uncle Master is really a timely help. Yun Chujio thought to herself, if it were not for these 5 disguising pills, things would not have been so easy. Just as Yun Chujio was communicating with Xiao Hanyo through her spiritual sense, Jin Ji walked to her bed. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Lin Chu, don't think that just because you helped me, I will give in to you during the competition. Let's each rely on our own abilities. After Jin Ji finished speaking, she turned around and left. Yun Chujia's face was filled with confusion. Fuck. What the hell? Is this Jin Ji crazy? A trace of coldness flashed across Qing Lan's eyes. Was this brainless Jin Ji trying to reconcile with Lin Chu in disguise? HMH, well see. The 3 of them had their own thoughts. The room was very quiet until Ji Hua said from outside, "Ladies, dinner is here." Yun Chujio jumped off the bed and rushed out. Jin Ji and Qing Lan's faces stiffened for a moment. However, thinking of their previous experience, they were afraid that the dinner was still limited, so they rushed out of the room. When the 2 of them went out, Yun Chujio was chatting with the servant girl who was delivering the food. This food has all the appearance, fragrance, and taste. It's just that the amount of food is really too little. I've always used a basin to bring food. This little thing of yours isn't even enough for me to eat alone. The servant girl looked at the big basin in Yun Chujia's hand with a dumbfounded expression. Well, the basin in her hand was even bigger than the basin that the servant girl was carrying. The maid could only say hesitantly, "Miss Chu, this servant will send more food over next time." Jin Ji wanted to mock Yun Chujio, but she thought about it and swallowed it back. The 3 of them returned to the dormitory after finishing their dinner. After dinner, they were still busy with their own things and no one said anything. The next morning, the 3 of them went to the courtyard after breakfast to wait for Mama. After Mama arrived, she immediately began to teach the 3 saintesses some etiquette. Apart from the daily etiquette that they had learned, there were also complicated etiquette such as receiving subordinates, meeting guests, and so on. Yun Chujio was afraid that the saintess would find a reason to eliminate Xing Envi, so she no longer hid her skills and learned quickly and well. In comparison, Jin Ji and Qing Lan were less charming. Mama told them to practice on their own and left the courtyard to meet the Xing Envi. How are the 3 of them doing? Is Lin Chu learning poorly? The Xing Envi asked lightly. Mama hesitated for a moment and then said, "Xing Envi, that Lin Chu not only learned well, but also learned faster and better than the other 2. I can't even find any fault with her." Xing Envi was stunned. It seems that I underestimated her. That's right. This is the puppet that Lu Huanhua has been painstakingly looking for. How can it be bad? Xing Envi, it seems that Vice Palace Master Lu is ready to make a move against you and young master. You should plan it as soon as possible. As for that Lin Chu, it doesn't matter whether she or the other 2 become Xing Envi. We should think of a way to keep you and young master alive first. Xing Envi laughed bitterly, "What can I think of? A few days ago, when I refused to summon the Netherworld Shrine, he used Chongqing's antidote to threaten me. If I didn't have some secrets that only the Xing Envi knew, he would have made his move long ago. Now it seems that he can't wait any longer. He even plans to give up those secrets. I don't have anything to threaten him with, so how can I defeat him? Jin Ji and Qing Lan are both direct daughters of large clans. If they become Xing Envi, they can still fight against Lu Huanhua. Even if I die, I can't let him get away with it. So no matter what, I have to eliminate that Lin Chu. Xing Envi, young master, has always been resourceful. Why don't you discuss it with him? Perhaps there might be a way. Besides, I think that Lin Chu isn't easy to deal with. Besides, Vice Palace Master Lu will definitely try to keep her alive." Mama sighed. No matter how cunning that Lin Chu is, she's just a little girl in her teens. HMPH, Vice Palace Master Lu wants to protect her. Then let him have no way to protect her. If you do as I say, you can make sure that Vice Palace Master Lu has no way to protect her. That Qin Lan has many thoughts. You might as well make use of her, Xing Nv said lightly. Xing Nv instructed Nanny Yi, who nodded and said, "This servant will make the arrangements right away." After Nanny Yi left, Xing Nv sat on the chair and sighed dejectedly. Then, she turned around and entered the study. Xing Nv arrived at the door of the study and took off the veil on her face. The expression on her face also became gentle. Only then did she push open the door of the study. Inside the study, a slim man was reading a book. When he saw Xing Nv, he smiled and said, "Biyun, have you seen Imama? Although Lin Chu is very cunning, he is nothing to be afraid of. However, Lu Huanhua is probably going to make a move on us. Husband, I have implicated you all these years. If it weren't for me, you would still be living in the Qingxian continent. How could you suffer like this?" Xing Nv's eyes reddened, tears streamed down her face. "Biyun, we're husband and wife. Husband and wife are one. There's no need to talk about this." The man took out a handkerchief and gently wiped the tears from the corner of Xing Nv's eyes. "But, if I didn't have to go there, we wouldn't have been caught. We could have been filial to father and could have raised little Jiu well. When I think of little Jiu becoming a child without a father or mother, my heart feels like it's being cut by a knife. Last time, in the burning sky plains, when I heard the little girl on the stage call herself Yun Chujiu, I almost lost my composure and rushed down to see if it was our little Jiu. But, I was afraid that that bastard Lu Huanhua would discover something, so I forcefully restrained myself. I was also afraid that I would give myself away and use your ill health as a catalyst to come back. That little girl must be our little Jiu. Although she has turned white now, I remember her eyes and brows. She must be our daughter. I didn't expect father to teach her so well. Not only is she delicate and moving, but she is also very smart. She has already ascended to the Tianyuan continent at such a young age, it can be seen that she must have put in a lot of hard work to cultivate." Xing Nv's face showed a proud expression, and her eyes shone again. That man, Yun Zhangqing, held Xing Nv's hand and said, "Biyun, we have survived for so many years. We will definitely be able to get through this time. Xing Nv, even if we really choose the successor of the Saintess, you can use teaching them some things as a reason to buy time. Now that the border is at war, perhaps things will turn for the better." "Oh right, husband, I heard that Di Biming of the Temple of Immortals is little Jiu's fiancé. You said that the Tianyuan continent suddenly attacked the Netherworld continent. Could it be that little Jiu already knows our identity?" Yun Zhangqing was stunned for a moment. "That's also possible. It's really hard on little Jiu. So, Biyun, we can't give up. Our family and little Jiu are still waiting for us to reunite." The holy maiden was enlightened by Yun Zhangqing's words, her emotions also calmed down a little. "Husband, what you said makes sense. We can't give up just like that. I need to think of a way to eliminate Lin Chu first. Then, I'll choose one of the two people, Jin Ji and Qin Lan, as my grooming targets. These two people have the backing of their families. If I use some tricks, I'm not afraid that they won't help me stall for time." This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yun Chujiu, this unlucky person, didn't know that her parents were trying to plot against her. She was sitting on the recliner and basking in the sun. Jin Ji and Qin Lan were practicing some of the etiquette taught by Mama in the courtyard. Qin Lan was very jealous when she saw Yun Chujiu's leisurely appearance. She didn't expect that Lin Chujiu was actually hiding her skills in the past, it was really detestable. "Sai, I say you two should stop practicing. This temperament is natural. No matter how much you practice, you can't compete with me. This Xing Envy must belong to me. Yun Chujiu was really bored and began to tease her son. Jin Ji couldn't stand it anymore. My temperament can't compete with a poor person like you. I don't believe that I can't compete with you. Qing Lan also snorted coldly and ignored Yun Chujiu, continuing to practice in the courtyard. Yun Chujiu sighed. Sigh, you guys really don't turn back until you hit a wall. Then you guys continue to practice. Actually, I'd rather you guys be stronger. Being invincible is also very lonely. Ji Hua and Ji Qin were both dumbfounded. How did this clown and good-for-nothing pass the previous assessment? In the next few days, Mama would only come over occasionally to answer some questions before leaving the courtyard. She was completely free-spirited. Yun Chujiu knew that this was definitely a big move, and it was targeted at her. However, this guy was just full of confidence. He would take whatever came his way. If he was worried about this or that, he wouldn't need to live anymore. That morning, Imama said to the three of them, the weather is good today. Xing Nv is hosting a banquet in the backyard. Follow me. The three of them followed Imama out of the courtyard and came to a large garden of De Hua Garden. There were all kinds of strange flowers and plants competing with each other. There were also some pavilions and pavilions. The scenery was very good. Jin Ji and Qing Lan enjoyed the beautiful scenery while walking. Yun Chujiu was not very interested in it. These flowers and plants could not be eaten, so she might as well plant some fruit trees. Imama brought the three of them to a pavilion with pastries and tea already placed inside. 3 young ladies, please wait for a moment. Xing Nv will be here soon, Mama said to the three of them. However, the three of them waited for a long time but did not see Xing Nv coming. Imama frowned and said, 3 young ladies, please be patient. I will go and see what is going on. If the 3 young ladies are bored, just stroll around in the garden. Imama then left in a hurry, leaving Yun Chujiu and the other 2 staring at each other. Yun Chujiu did not know what was polite at all. She poured herself a cup of tea and then crossed her legs to drink tea and eat snacks. Jin Ji and Qing Lan looked at her with disdain, then they stood up and left the pavilion to admire the flowers. Yun Chujiu sat on the chair and closed her eyes to rest after eating and drinking her fill. She was enjoying herself very much. Hidden in the dark, Mama E was sweating profusely when she saw the situation. This Lin Chu Chu was really too difficult to deal with. If she did not leave the pavilion, how could she be lured there? Just as Mama E was anxious, she saw Yun Chujiu stretch lazily and walk down from the pavilion. Mama E's heart was filled with joy. She was about to succeed. Yun Chujiu picked up a few flowers out of boredom. After removing the petals, she threw them at Jin Ji and Qing Lan. The heavenly lady is scattering the flowers. Isn't it fun? Jin Ji and Qing Lan felt as if their hearts were going to explode. What fun! Besides, are we so close to you that we're joking? We clearly don't get along with each other, okay? While Qing Lan was angry, her heart was filled with joy. This was the garden of the Sheng Nv. Lin Chujiu had plucked a few flowers, so she would definitely be punished. Jin Ji hesitated for a moment, but she still said coldly, Lin Chujiu, this is the Sheng Nv's garden. You will be punished for destroying the flowers here. Yun Chujiu giggled, if there are flowers, just fold them. Don't wait until there are no flowers, then fold the branches. These flowers are lucky to have been chosen by me. The Sheng Nv is such a kind person, so she will definitely not blame me. Come, they'll give you another shower of petals. Yun Chujiu started to destroy the flowers after she finished speaking. Large amounts of petals were thrown at Jin Ji and Qing Lan. The 2 of them were so angry that they did not care whether they would be punished or not. They also grabbed the petals and started to fight back. In the dark, Mama was so angry that she was twitching. This Lin Chujiu was really a disaster. Fortunately, she was going to be eliminated. While the three of them were playing, they saw a red flame rabbit running from the flowers. Unlike the usual rabbit fur, this rabbit's fur was as red as fire. It was very beautiful. Ordinary women did not have much resistance against such a cute spiritual beast. Jin Ji and Qin Lan were attracted by the red flame rabbit. What a cute red flame rabbit. I really want to catch and touch it. Yun Chujiu was also attracted by the scarlet flame rabbit. What a fat rabbit. The meat must be delicious. Jin Ji and Qin Lan. Scarlet flame rabbit. The scarlet flame rabbit turned around and ran. Master, you said that this mission was not dangerous. Why did it feel that if it ran a little slower, it would be skinned and eaten? Jin Ji ran after the scarlet flame rabbit. Qin Lan's eyes flashed as she chased after it. Yun Chujiu smiled bitterly in her heart. This rabbit was probably prepared for her. She wanted to see what kind of trap her beautiful mother had set for her. Yun Chujiu thought of this and chased after it. She shouted while chasing, "Catch it! Let's roast the rabbit for dinner." When the red flame rabbit heard Yun Chujiu's words, it ran even faster. It wished it could grow a pair of wings. In the dark, Nanny E was dumbfounded. She comforted herself. Although there was a slight deviation, she had managed to lure Lin Chuchu there. She would definitely succeed. The red flame rabbit was small, and it was much faster than the three of them in the flowers. The three of them chased after it, but they did not see the red flame rabbit. Instead, they saw a stone tablet. The stone tablet was densely covered with words. In other words, behind the stone tablet was the forbidden area of the Saintly Virgin Palace. That was the place where the spirits of the netherworld were worshipped. Only the Saintly Virgin could enter on a specific date. If the others entered, they would be killed without mercy. The words, "kill without mercy," were drawn in cinnabar, and it was very eye-catching. Qin Lan's heart skipped a beat. This was a great opportunity to get rid of Jin Ji and Lin Chujiu. As long as she got the two of them into the forbidden area, she would be the only candidate. Qin Lan was so excited that she started to tremble slightly. She saw that Jin Ji and Yun Chujiu were both looking at the stone tablet with their backs to her. Suddenly, she threw a palm at the two of them. Jin Ji and Yun Chujiu were caught off guard. In order to avoid her palm, they jumped forward and entered the forbidden land. In a flash of white light, they disappeared in front of Qin Lan. Yun Chujiu cursed in her heart. Her beautiful mother was quite scheming. She actually knew how to use Qin Lan to deal with her. This was called playing a game with a game. She wanted to see what good things were inside the forbidden land. Qin Lan's face revealed a sinister smile. Ha ha ha, finally, there was no one to compete with her. After they came out, even if they could save their lives, they would still be stripped of the Saintess qualification. This Saintess position was hers, Qin Lan's Xing Nv. Qin Lan calmed down for a moment, then revealed a panicked expression and ran back. She ran to the entrance of the garden and met Mama. "Miss Qin Lan, why are you here? Where are the other two young ladies?" Mama saw Qin Lan coming alone and knew that the matter had been settled. Mama, something bad has happened. Jin Ji and Lin Chuchu ran into the forbidden area to chase after a red flame rabbit. I tried to stop them but they didn't listen. What should we do? Qin Lan showed an anxious expression. It was as if she was really worried about Yun Chujiu and Jin Ji. What? They are too bold. Follow me to see the Saintess immediately. Mama sneered in her heart. This Qin Lan was really like what the Saintess had said. She was a person with a mouth full of honey and a sword in her heart. However, this kind of person was the most useful. When Qinglan saw Mama like this, she was even more certain that Yun Chuzhou and Jin Ji had no chance to turn the tables. She tried her best to suppress her excitement and followed Mama. Mama said that she was in a hurry, but her feet were not particularly fast. It was best to stall for some time. It would be even better if they offended the netherworld spirit directly. At this moment, in the forbidden area, after a white light flashed in front of Jin Ji and Yun Chujia's eyes, a palace appeared in front of them. This palace was much smaller than the one that appeared in the square before, but its shape was very similar to that palace. Jin Ji cursed angrily, "Qinglan, that bitch. How dare she plot against me? When I get out, I'll definitely kill her." Yun Chuzhou glanced at her. "I'm afraid you'll have to worry about yourself first after you get out. The stone tablet says that anyone other than the Sheng Nv will be killed if they enter this place. We were framed. It was Qinglan, that bitch, who plotted against us. The Sheng Nv won't punish us without any reason." Jin Ji said angrily. "You are really brainless to say that you are brainless. Do you think Sheng Nv will believe our words? Even if she did, we have already made a big mistake. We definitely don't have the qualifications to be Sheng Nv. Instead, it was that bitch Qinglan who became the only candidate," Yun Chuzhou said slowly. Jin Ji was stunned. She hesitated for a moment and said, "Lin Chuchu, I know you have many tricks up your sleeve. As long as you can help me get through this crisis, whether it is you or me becoming Sheng Nv, I will repay you well." "You are treating me as an outsider when you say that. We can be considered old acquaintances. Although we have not been on good terms with each other, the beating is a form of scolding and love. In fact, I still like you very much in my heart." Jin Ji's heart warmed up. This Lin Chuchu was 100 times stronger than that Qinglan. She was really blind before. Jin Ji was so touched that she wanted to say something. She heard Yun Chuzhou say with a smile, "Although we are on good terms, we are brothers. Let's settle the score. Swear on your inner demons. Just say that if you don't repay me well in the future, the heavens will strike you with lightning and you will die a horrible death." Jin Ji's face stiffened. She was so angry that she gritted her teeth. "Good. Good. Lin Chuchu, you are ruthless enough. Just swear on it. If Lin Chuchu helps me get through this crisis, I will definitely repay her properly in the future. If I violate this oath, I will be struck by lightning, and I will die a horrible death." "Io, why are you so honest? I was just saying that, and you actually took it seriously. Am I someone who doesn't save people? Even if you don't swear on it, I will help you," Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Jin Ji wanted to strangle Yun Chuzhou to death. She gnashed her teeth and said, "Cut the crap. What should we do next? There is obviously a barrier here. Should we wait for the Saintess and the rest to come here or think of a way to get out?" Yun Chuzhou thought that Jin Ji was quite funny. She was so angry that her hair stood on end. She was like a kitten. She said with a smile, "Since we're already here, we naturally have to go in and take a look. Maybe we can find a way out from inside." Jin Ji had no idea what to do now, so she could only follow Yun Chuzhou into the palace. As soon as they entered the palace, they saw a sacrificial table opposite them. There was a wooden plaque on it that said, "Place of worship for the spirit of the netherworld." What was placed on the sacrificial table were not pastries or spiritual fruits. Instead, there were many supreme-grade spiritual stones. Yun Chuzhou burst into laughter. "Oh my God, it turns out that this spirit of the netherworld is also greedy. This is the first time I've seen a supreme-grade spiritual stone being used to worship it." It was obviously the first time Jin Ji had seen it as well. She tugged at Yun Chujia's sleeve. Don't spout nonsense. Be careful not to anger the spirit of the netherworld. Yun Chujio curled her lips and said, don't worry. This spirit of the netherworld is either blind or deaf. Otherwise, why would it let us be framed and not take action? Jin Ji was scared silly by Yun Chujio. A thought rose in her mind. If she had known that this fellow was so bold and reckless, she would have waited for the saintess at the same spot. But now, not only did she have to make a promise, she might even be punished by the spirit of the netherworld. What a huge loss. Jin Ji was on high alert. She was afraid that she would be suddenly punished, but there was nothing wrong with that. Was it really as Lin Chuchu said, that the spirit of the netherworld did not pay attention to this place? While Jin Ji was in a daze, she saw Yun Chujio shamelessly put the top-grade spirit stones on the offering table into her storage ring. Then, she took out a large basin of steamed buns and placed them on the offering table. I don't know who put these spirit stones on you. Isn't this bullying you? The people regard food as their heaven. Your spirit should also regard food as its heaven. I'll give these steamed buns to you. Don't thank me too much. The corner of Jin Ji's eyes twitched violently. You're really shameless. Those supreme-grade spirit stones can buy countless steamed buns, okay? Yun Chujio picked up the sign again and looked around. She didn't find anything strange, so she turned her gaze to the altar. Come. Help me move this table away. There might be an exit down here, Yun Chujio said to Jin Ji. Although Jin Ji felt that this matter was not reliable, she had already boarded the pirate ship, so she could only follow Yun Chujio and lift up the altar table. I told you that you were talking nonsense. There's nothing here. Jin Ji's words stopped abruptly because she saw Yun Chujio knock on it and use a dagger to lift up the blue stone below. There was actually a dark hole below. Yun Chujio took out a luminous pearl and shone it down. There were several steps below. She blinked her eyes and said to Jin Ji, there's either a secret passage or a hidden treasure. Let's go down and take a look. Jin Ji had no choice but to walk down the steps. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and put the pot of steamed buns on the offering table into her storage ring. Then, she took out a few top-grade spirit stones and threw them on the offering table. Yun Chujio spent a lot of effort to put the offering table back into the distance, and then she fixed the green stone slab before walking down the stairs as well. Yun Chujio could not help but be disappointed when she saw the situation below. There was only an empty stone room below. It was not filled with treasures as she had imagined, and there was no secret passage. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Jin Ji could not help but mock, I told you that you're delusional. This is just an empty room. Let's go up. Yun Chujio ignored her and knocked on the stone wall with her dagger. She did not find anything. Was this just an empty room? It did not make sense. Who would waste their time and effort to build a basement here? Have you given up? Let's go up quickly. Jin Ji said and was ready to leave. Yun Chujio wanted to say a few words to Jin Ji, but she was stunned when she saw Jin Ji's shadow on the stone wall. Normally, the shadow should be complete, but Jin Ji's shadow was only half of it. Stay where you are. Yun Chujio said excitedly. Then, she touched the place where the shadow disappeared and indeed, she felt an invisible barrier. Jin Ji was a little scared by Yun Chujio's nagging behavior. Are you crazy? Cut the crap. Attack this place with your spiritual power together with me. We're going to be rich. Yun Chujio said excitedly. Jin Ji thought that Yun Chujio was most likely crazy and was ready to leave. However, she strangely found that Yun Chujio's fireball was blocked by something halfway. Although Jin Ji was arrogant, she was from a big family and had some experience. She exclaimed, there's a barrier here. No wonder there's only an empty room. It's a camouflage. Stop wasting time. Hurry up and attack with me. Try to take away all the good stuff before others come. Don't worry, I won't mistreat you. Yun Chujio continued to shoot fireballs as she said. She was extremely annoyed. What the fuck? If it wasn't for the fact that she was afraid of exposing her identity, she could have used my little 9 thunderbolt needles to break this barrier in a minute. Jin Ji's curiosity was also aroused, so the two of them worked together to attack that barrier. Yun Chujio was really impatient, so she said, "Do you have a burst talisman or a burst talisman?" Jin Ji hesitated for a moment, then took out a burst talisman from her storage ring. There better be good stuff in there. Otherwise, this burst talisman will really be wasted. Yun Chujio thought to herself, if I wasn't afraid of exposing my identity, why would I need you? I have plenty of this damn thing. Yun Chujio took the sudden rupture talisman and retreated some distance from Jin Ji. She threw the sudden rupture talisman towards the enchantment. After a loud bang, a secret door appeared on the stone wall in front of her. Yun Chujio rubbed her hands excitedly. I'm rich, I'm rich. There must be a treasure vault behind. Ha ha ha. This guy was afraid that there was an ambush inside, so he took out a piece of wood from his storage ring and knocked the door open. The corner of Jin Ji's mouth twitched. What was the meaning of putting a piece of broken wood in the storage ring? Yun Chujio saw that there was nothing unusual, so she took the luminous pearl and shone it inside. She could not help but be disappointed. Damn it, it was not a treasure vault at all, but a tunnel that stretched as far as the eye could see. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. At this point, she naturally wanted to see where the tunnel led to. So she waved at Jin Ji and the two of them walked into the tunnel. Just as the two of them walked into the tunnel, they heard a bang. The entrance was sealed by a huge rock. Jin Ji was shocked. It's over. We must be locked in here. Look at you. What are you afraid of with me? Look at what's inside. There are so many obstacles. There must be something good inside. Yun Chujio said excitedly. Hearing Yun Chujio's words, Jin Ji felt a little more at ease. She thought that she must have been provoked, and that was why she felt that she could trust Lin Chujio. The two of them walked along the tunnel. After about 15 minutes, there was a fork in the road ahead. They were in a dilemma. Which path should they take? Should we go left or right? Jin Ji asked Yun Chujio with a dilemma. Right. Yun Chujio said with certainty. Why did you choose the right? What did you see? Jin Ji asked with confusion. Are you stupid? Men go left and women go right. We are women, so we have to go right. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Jin Ji. The two of them walked along the right side of the tunnel for about 15 minutes and found that there were stairs at the end. The two of them went up the stairs and there was a stone slab on it. Yun Chujio leaned against the stone slab and listened. She did not hear any movement. She used her finger to knock twice, but there was nothing unusual. Only then did she carefully push the stone slab upwards, but she did not push it. Yun Chujio motioned for Jin Ji to come over. The two of them pushed together, and only then did they open a crack in the stone slab. Yun Chujio looked up from the crack and could not help but be stunned. This was actually the pavilion where they had stayed at the beginning. The reason why Yun Chujio was so sure was because there were still some cake dregs on the ground, which Yun Chujio had accidentally dropped when she was eating. Yun Chujio could not help but be very puzzled. They had spent so much effort to build the tunnel that actually led to this place. Why did the person who designed the tunnel do this? Was there a bump on his head? However, no matter what, at least he had saved them. They should go out first. Yun Chujio said to Jin Ji, you have a concealment talisman, right? Give me one. I'll go out first, and then cover you. Jin Ji took out an invisibility talisman and handed it to Yun Chuzhou. This invisibility talisman is only effective on people below the spiritual venerable level. Be careful. Yun Chuzhou nodded. The two of them spent a lot of effort to move the stone slab away. Only then did they realize that no wonder it was so heavy. It turned out that there was a stone table on top of the stone slab. Yun Chuzhou carefully poked her head out bit by bit. When she saw that there was no one around, she climbed up and pulled Jin Ji up. After Yun Chuzhou removed the concealment talisman, she took the stone tablet and the stone table back into the distance. Then, the two of them used a cleaning spell and began to talk. When the time comes, you just have to speak as little as possible. Just leave it to me, Yun Chuzhou said to Jin Ji. She was not worried that Jin Ji would betray her at all. The two of them were now in the same boat. Moreover, she had made an oath in her heart. On the other side, the Saintess had sent someone to inform Vice Palace Master Lu and arrived at the edge of the Forbidden Land with a great fanfare, Sheng Nv. Vice Palace Master Lu asked Qin Lan gloomily, did Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji really enter this Forbidden Land? Reporting to Vice Palace Master Lu, Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji insisted on going in because they saw the Scarlet Flame Rabbit enter the Forbidden Land. I couldn't persuade them no matter what, so I had to report it to the Saintess, Qin Lan said helplessly and anxiously. Vice Palace Master Liu's face was gloomy. This forbidden area was dedicated to the spirit of the netherworld. Whether Lin Chuchu entered it by mistake or voluntarily, she was no longer qualified to be the Saintess. She could only let the remaining Qin Lan be the successor of the Saintess. Qin Lan's thoughts were quite deep, and the Qin family behind her was not small either. She was really not the best candidate. If it really didn't work out, she could only think of a way to eliminate Qin Lan. However, after spending so much effort, it was all for naught. It was really infuriating. Qin Lan saw that the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Liu's expressions were very gloomy, and she was very proud of herself. Lin Chuchu, Jin Ji, you are definitely going to be eliminated. Sheng Nv and Jin Ji. Sheng Nv said coldly, Vice Palace Master Lu, wait for me to go in and bring the two of them out. I'll interrogate them in detail. However, no matter what reason they entered the Forbidden Land, they can't escape the crime of desecrating the spirit of the netherworld. They are no longer qualified to be Sheng Nv. Then I'll trouble Sheng Nv to go in and bring the two of them out. A trace of viciousness flashed in Vice Palace Master Liu's eyes. He knew that all of this was designed by Sheng Nv. After thinking for a moment, this move not only made Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji lose the qualification to be the Saintess, but he also had to give up on Qin Lan. It would take a lot of time to re-elect the Saintess. The Saintess took out her jade token and formed a seal before walking into the forbidden area. Sheng Nv didn't come out for more than an hour. Everyone couldn't help but feel suspicious. What was going on? Why did they not come out after such a long time? Could it be that Jin Ji and Lin Chuchu dared to disobey Sheng Nv's orders? Qin Lan was very happy in her heart. She could not wait for Yun Chuzhou and Jin Ji to completely offend Sheng Nv. Finally, Sheng Nv walked out of the forbidden area with a cold expression on her face. Qin Lan, tell me the truth. Where did Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji go? Sheng Nv stared at Qin Lan. Sheng Nv, the two of them entered the forbidden area to chase after the Scarlet Flame Rabbit. I saw it with my own eyes. Qin Lan was shocked. What did Sheng Nv mean by asking this? Could it be that Jin Ji and Lin Chuchu were not in the forbidden area? How could this be? Nonsense. I searched inside but didn't find any trace of the two of them. Why don't you tell me the truth? Sheng Nv was very angry. She had searched inside for a long time, but other than finding that the supreme grade spirit stones on the offering table were missing, she didn't find any trace of them. Was Qing Lan lying, or did those two people sneak out? However, how could they break out of the array without a jade token? Vice Palace Master Lu said coldly, Qing Lan, deceiving Sheng Envy is a big crime. Why don't you tell us the truth? Qing Lan saw how furious the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Lu were, and she was so scared that she quickly knelt down and said, Saintess, what I said is the truth. I didn't lie a single word. They really entered the forbidden area. Sheng Envy's eyes were filled with anger seeing that Qing Lan didn't seem to be lying. The Saintess was even more puzzled. Where did Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji go now? At this moment, a guard hurried over and whispered something into Vice Palace Master Liu's ear. A trace of pride flashed across Vice Palace Master Liu's eyes. Saintess, the guard just reported that Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji are currently enjoying the flowers. It seems that everything is a lie made up by this Qing Lan. Sheng Envy's eyes were filled with a trace of pride. Impossible. They clearly entered the forbidden area. How could they be enjoying the flowers? Qing Lan screamed. If she was really convicted of deceiving the Saintess, then her life would be over. The Sheng Envy frowned slightly. Vice Palace Master Liu's words naturally had solid evidence. She did not think of a way to make up for it, yet she still made such a big fuss. What an idiot. The Sheng Envy had already confirmed in her heart that there was a deviation in the plan this time. Qing Lan did not have the guts to lie. However, how did Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji escape from the forbidden area? Vice Palace Master Lu snorted coldly. Whether it's true or not, we'll know when we go over and take a look. Sheng Envy, please. Sheng Envy had no choice but to say to Qing Lan, are you lying, or is there a discrepancy between the two of you? Confront them when you see them. Follow me. The crowd surrounded Sheng Envy as they walked toward the exit of the garden. Sure enough, they saw two young girls admiring the flowers from afar. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Qing Lan broke out in a cold sweat. How was this possible? She had pushed them into the forbidden area. Why were they here? Jin Ji and Yun Chuzhou saw the crowd and quickly walked out from the flowers. Sheng Envy, Vice Palace Master Lu. Sheng Envy's gaze paused on Yun Chuzhou for a moment and asked coldly, Qing Lan said that the two of you accidentally entered the forbidden area to chase after a fire rabbit. Is that true? Jin Ji and Yun Chuzhou's faces were filled with disbelief. Forbidden area? We knew that it was a forbidden area. How could we possibly enter? Qing Lan, even though you and we had some disagreements, you can't accuse us like this. Qing Lan cried out in shock, you're lying. You clearly entered the forbidden area. I saw it with my own eyes. You must have used some unspeakable means to escape. Yun Chuzhou sighed, Qing Lan, is there something wrong with your brain? That was a forbidden area, how could the two of us girls escape? Even if you wanted to frame us, you shouldn't have alarmed the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Lu. The consequences of your actions were very serious. You might even implicate your Qing family. Qing Lan was already very afraid. Hearing Yun Chuzhou's words made her even more terrified. She blurted out, you're lying. I clearly pushed the two of you into the forbidden area. Qing Lan knew that something was wrong after she finished speaking. However, she gritted her teeth. No matter what, if I can't heal you, don't even think about it. If worst comes to worst, none of us will be able to become Sheng Envy. Thinking of this, she screamed, yes, I clearly pushed the two of you into the forbidden area. Why are you here? Sheng Envy and Vice Palace Master Lu really entered the forbidden area. As for how they escaped, as long as they are tortured, they will tell us. Yun Chuzhou could not help but twitch her lips in her heart. How stupid. We are not criminals, how can you torture us without any evidence? Are you out of your mind? As expected, before Xing Envi could say anything, Vice Palace Master Lu shouted angrily, "This is outrageous. Xing Envi, I think this Qin Lan may have some mental issues, and her words do not make sense. Such a person is not qualified to be a Xing Envi. Men, chase Qin Lan out of the Netherworld Palace." The guards were all Vice Palace Master Liu's men. When they heard this, they immediately came over and surrounded Qin Lan. "Miss Qin Lan, please." Qin Lan regained some of her rationality. She knew that the situation was over. Moreover, Vice Palace Master Liu's attitude was clearly biased towards Jin Ji and Yun Chujiu. A trace of malice flashed in her eyes. Xing Envi coldly said, "Saintess, Vice Palace Master Lu, whether you believe it or not, this Lin Chuchu and Jin Ji have indeed entered the forbidden area. As for how they got out, they must have some unspeakable secrets." After saying this, Qin Lan bowed to the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Lu and then left. Qin Lan's words naturally did not want to let Yun Chujiu and Jin Ji have a good time. Even if she was eliminated, it also planted the seeds of doubt in the hearts of the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Lu. Her idea was good, but unfortunately, she misjudged the situation. Vice Palace Master Lu wanted to push Yun Chujiu to the position of the Saintess, so naturally, he would not touch her for the time being. The Saintess wanted to push Jin Ji to the position of the Saintess, so naturally, she would not probe further. Therefore, after Qin Lan was kicked out, the Saintess and Vice Palace Master Lu did not mention anything about the Forbidden Land. They only said a few polite words and left the garden. Xing Envi and Xing Envi were very happy. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yun Chujiu and Jin Ji followed Mama Yi back to the dormitory. Mama Yi only instructed the two of them to continue practicing their etiquette before she left in a hurry. Jin Ji was about to speak when she saw Yun Chujiu make a silent gesture at her. After opening the isolation array, only then did she say, "Are you stupid? Aren't you afraid that the walls have ears? If anyone hears us, we're done for. You're really brainless." If Yun Chujiu had said this in the past, Jin Ji would definitely go berserk. But now, after the incident in the Forbidden Land, Jin Ji had a trace of admiration for Yun Chujiu from the bottom of her heart. She frowned and said, "Do you think the Xing Envi and Vice Palace Master Lu will really let us go just like that? They won't really torture us to extract a confession like Qin Lan said, right? Don't worry. Without real evidence, Qin Lan alone won't be able to do anything to us. Besides, you're the precious treasure of the Jin family. They won't dare to touch you easily." Hearing Yun Chujiu's words, Jin Ji felt a little more at ease. That bitch Qin Lan. When I find an opportunity, I'll definitely kill her. You'd better think of a way to pass the news to your father now. Otherwise, that little bitch might spread rumors and create trouble again. You'd better strike first. Yun Chujiu said lightly. Jin Ji felt that what Yun Chujiu said made sense, so she quickly took out the voice transmission talisman and prepared to contact her father. Yun Chujiu said, "You'd better grow a brain. Think carefully before you say anything." Jin Ji was stunned and nodded. In the voice transmission talisman, she only said that Qin Lan was jealous of her and slandered her for entering the forbidden area by mistake, so she was driven out of Yun by the Xing Envi. After Jin Ji received her father's reply, she said to Yun Chujiu with a complicated expression, "Although you helped me this time, I am determined to get Xing Envi. Let's compete fairly." Yun Chujiu nodded her head indifferently and cursed in her heart. This idiot, compete fairly? You are really unlucky to have met me. There is no such word as fair in my words. The person who will win will definitely be me. For a few days, Mama did not come over. It was as if she had forgotten about Yun Chujiu and Jin Ji. However, Yun Chujiu knew that the Saintess must be thinking of some bad idea. As a mother, she was scheming against her own daughter, Sheng Nv. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the saintess to choose her successor. Early in the morning, Yun Chuzhou and Jin Ji followed Mama to the big square that they had last time. Due to the importance of the matter, the leaders of the Netherworld Hall also came to the square. When they saw Yun Chuzhou and Jin Ji, although they didn't dare to make a noise, they still discussed in low voices. Who do you think will win? It should be that Jin Ji. I heard that she is the first daughter of the Jin family, and her spiritual power is much higher than Lin Chuchus. I also think it should be Jin Ji. Although that Lin Chuchu is like a little fairy, that Jin Ji is more imposing. Nonsense. Miss Chuchu is obviously more suitable for the saintess temperament. Not only is she kind-hearted, but she is also extraordinary. The one who spoke was one of the guards who accompanied the young girls to practice sword techniques, Sheng Nv. The other guards also echoed, "That's right, Miss Chuchu is kind and strong. She is the best candidate." Jin Ji heard everyone's discussion and could not help but twitch the corner of her eyes. Those guards were most likely blind, right? Such a black-hearted, greedy, and kind-hearted person. Stop teasing her, okay? Just as everyone was discussing in low voices, Vice Palace Master Lu arrived. A moment later, the saintess also arrived at the square. After everyone saluted, the saintess then said coldly, "Today, I have to choose one of these two candidates to be my successor. As the saintess, I naturally have to possess the power of the netherworld. Therefore, today's test is very simple. Whoever has a higher value of the power of the netherworld will be the successor of the saintess." Yun Chujia's heart was like a muttering dog. "Oh my God, you're really ruthless. You're not giving me a way out. You clearly know that I don't have the power of the netherworld. How can I beat Jin Ji?" Vice Palace Master Lu was furious and said fiercely, "Saintess, the second round of the test is the power of the netherworld. You'd better change the topic." The saintess glanced at Vice Palace Master Lu. "Vice Palace Master Lu, I'm the saintess of the Netherworld Palace. You're just the Vice Palace Master. I have absolute authority over the saintess choice, so you just need to watch from the side," said Sheng Nv indifferently. Vice Palace Master Lu almost fainted. Although he wanted to kill the saintess, he couldn't do it in public under the watchful eyes of everyone. He hated Sheng Nv in his heart. "Very well, bitch, you're really scheming. Even if that Jin Ji wins, I still have a way to make her not become the successor." Seeing that Vice Palace Master Lu didn't speak anymore, the saintess said, "Men, bring the spirit power ball and the display screen to Sheng Nv." After Mama and the others placed the spirit power ball and the display screen, the saintess signaled for Jin Ji and Yun Chuzhou to start the test. Jin Ji's heart was very complicated. She was happy that she had won, but she also felt that it was unfair. However, when she thought about the interests of the family, she still walked to the test area. Jin Ji bit her index finger and began to chant, "With me to stop the bleeding, sacrifice the power of the netherworld, come." After the spiritual power ball was attacked by Jin Ji, the number on the display screen began to rise and finally stopped at 1100. Jin Ji was very satisfied with this result. She felt that the successor of Sheng Nv would be her. After all, Lin Chuchu did not have the power of the netherworld at all. "Lin Chuchu, it's your turn." Sheng Nv said lightly, but in her heart, she was a little proud. Her husband's idea was indeed good. Jin Ji would definitely win. Jin Ji was the daughter of the Jin family. That bastard Lu Huanhua did not dare to make a move on her so easily. This way, she could stall for more time. Yun Chujia's mind had not been idle. She had thought of several ways, such as pretending to faint, or thinking of ways to get Vice Palace Master Lu to delay the time for the assessment. If it was not enough, she would reject it. These were all ways to treat the symptoms but not the root cause. Moreover, time was pressing. It was better to become the successor as soon as possible. However, she did not know whether it was because of the problem with the test ball last time or the effect of cursing the spirit of the netherworld. This time, how could she let her results surpass Jin Ji's? Yun Chujiu wanted to curse just like the last time, but this time was different from the last time. Everyone's eyes fell on her. The test area was very close to everyone. If she cursed, there was probably no need for the test, she would be directly eliminated. Because she did not think of a countermeasure, Yun Chujiu walked very slowly. Sheng Envy sneered, "Lin Chujiu, don't dawdle there. If you don't start, I will directly disqualify you from the test." Yun Chujiu cursed in her heart. "Beautiful mother, sooner or later, you will regret treating your little cotton-padded jacket like this." Yun Chujiu gritted her teeth. No matter what, she had to try first. If it really didn't work, she would pretend to faint. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yun Chujiu walked to the testing area and imitated Jin Ji. She bit her index finger and chanted, "Use me to stop the bleeding and sacrifice the power of the netherworld. Come." Everyone's eyes fell on Yun Chujiu. After Yun Chujiu chanted, there was no reaction. The number on the screen was still 0. This meant that Lin Chujiu had not mastered the power of the netherworld at all. This competition was basically over. Jin Ji would definitely win. Vice Palace Master Lu gritted his teeth. This plan had taken so long, but he did not expect that bitch to ruin it in the end. It was really detestable. Jin Ji's face was slightly smug. Although it was a little unfair to win, no matter what, she had won. Just as Yun Chujiu was about to pretend to faint, a small drop of liquid was secreted from the leaf of the Guai Chao in her dantian. The small drop of liquid flowed into Yun Chujiu's blood vessels. The leaf of the Guai Chao trembled, and Yun Chujiu was stunned. Although the Guai Chao could not speak, Yun Chujiu still guessed the meaning of the Guai Chao. It wanted Yun Chujiu to summon the power of the netherworld again. Although Yun Chujiu did not understand, she still decided to try her best. She chanted again, "Use me to stop the bleeding, to offer sacrifices to the netherworld, the power of the netherworld, come." As soon as Yun Chujiu finished chanting, she felt a power in her body that did not belong to her. That feeling was very strange. Yun Chujiu was afraid of causing any bad consequences, so she did not dare to use her full strength. She used 10% of her strength to attack the spiritual energy ball. The number on the display screen suddenly soared to 2000. Everyone could not help but exclaim in surprise. Wasn't this Lin Chujiu unable to control the power of the netherworld? How could she control it again? Moreover, it actually reached 2000 attack points. Although 2000 attack points was nothing, she was only at the 8th level of the spirit sect. This meant that she was very favored by the netherworld spirit. Yun Chujiu was also very confused. She actually succeeded. Moreover, she only used 10% of her strength, and she was already so powerful. What exactly was that drop of liquid secreted by Go Weibao? It seemed that the netherworld spirit really liked it. The saintess never expected that things would actually turn around. This Lin Chujiu clearly could not control the power of the netherworld, so how could she suddenly be able to control it? Could it be that she was really the heir favored by the netherworld spirit? Jin Ji was very disappointed, but she also felt that she had lost wholeheartedly. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Lin Chujiu could not lie, which could only mean that she was more favored by the netherworld spirit. Vice Palace Master Lu was even more overjoyed. He did not expect that this Lin Chujiu would actually turn the tables. Even the heavens were helping him. Vice Palace Master Lu was not worried about Yun Chujiu being loved by the netherworld spirit at all. How could an orphan girl turn the world upside down? It was extremely easy to control her. Saintess, now that the outcome has been decided, please announce the result. Vice Palace Master Lu said with a provocative tone. Xing Envi's voice was filled with anger. The saintess clenched her fists tightly. Although she was extremely unwilling to let Yun Chuzhou become the saintess, she could not go back on her words under the watchful eyes of the public. She could only say, I hereby announce that Lin Chu will become the next Xing Envi successor. She will learn from me about the relevant matters from now on. When her wings are fully grown, I will hand over the position of Xing Envi to her. After Xing Envi finished speaking, she directly left with her maid. Vice Palace Master Lu didn't say anything to Yun Chuzhou and also left with his maid. Jin Ji hesitated for a moment, but she still walked up to Yun Chuzhou and said, Chuzhou, congratulations. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yun Chuzhou glanced at Jin Ji. When are you leaving the Netherworld Palace? I should leave after I return to my dormitory to pack up. After all, the assessment has already ended. Jin Ji was stunned for a moment. She did not know what Yun Chuzhou meant. Sigh, we can be considered to have gotten to know each other. Let's go back to the dormitory. I'll hug you and cry for a while before you leave. Yun Chuzhou said with a bitter face. Jin Ji's heart was like a dog that was bickering. She did not believe Yun Chuzhou's nonsense. However, she also wanted to know what Yun Chuzhou was up to, so she said, okay, then let's go back to the dormitory together. Mama could not stop them, so she let the two of them return to the dormitory. Jin Ji learned her lesson this time. As soon as she entered the dormitory, she opened the isolation array. Why are you looking for me? Alright, you've improved. That's right, you shouldn't have the intention to harm others, but you should have the intention to guard against others. After all, there are very few kind people like me, Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. The corner of Jin Ji's mouth twitched. She had seen shameless people before, but this was the first time she had seen such a shameless person. If you have something to say, say it quickly. Otherwise, someone will come to rush you later. Jin Ji urged. What's the rush? They won't be able to rush you for a while now. I remember something. You swore in your heart that I would help you get out of the Forbidden Land. You have to repay me properly. You won't forget, right? Yun Chuzhou looked at Jin Ji with a smile. Jin Ji's heart sank. She thought that Yun Chuzhou had already forgotten about this. How do you want me to repay you? How many netherworld stones do you want? Jin Ji was already prepared for Yun Chuzhou to open her mouth wide. After all, this fellow even dared to take the spirit stones offered to the netherworld spirit. Am I such a shallow person who loves money? I don't want netherworld stones. Then what do you want? Jin Ji looked at Yun Chuzhou in confusion. I want your Jin family to help me kill Vice Palace Master Lu. Yun Chuzhou said slowly. Jin Ji staggered and almost fell to the ground. Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Xing Envi should be the ruler of the Netherworld Palace. However, Vice Palace Master Lu has been controlling the Netherworld Palace and even the Netherworld continent for so many years. He frequently attacked the Tian Yuan continent, causing great losses to the people and the wealth. Many people in the Netherworld continent were killed and injured. Therefore, we have to kill him and let Xing Envi regain control of the Netherworld Palace. Yun Chuzhou had done this after careful consideration. Just relying on her and the Saintess power alone to topple Vice Palace Master Lu was a little difficult. Although the Jin family's power could not be compared to the Netherworld Palace, they were still one of the top families. Right now, most of the guards of the Netherworld Palace were at the border and confronting the people of the Tian Yuan continent. There were not many people in the Netherworld Palace. If they had the Jin family's help and the secret guards of the Longevity Palace, there was still a high chance of success in eliminating Vice Palace Master Lu. Seeing the serious expression on Yun Chujia's face, Jin Ji finally believed that Yun Chujio wasn't spouting nonsense. However, she still couldn't accept it. Chu, this request of yours is really too much. Vice Palace Master Lu is covering the sky with one hand. I advise you to give up as well. It's better for you to be the successor of the Sheng NV. Jin Ji, to think that I still think that you are a heroine. Is that all you have? Do you want your Jin family to flourish? As long as this matter is successful, your Jin family will be the #1 family after the Netherworld Palace. And you, Jin Ji, are the hero who saved the people of the Netherworld. Are you willing to be mediocre for the rest of your life? Although Jin Ji's blood was boiling from Yun Chujia's words, this was not a small matter after all. She was still hesitant. Chu, this matter is not a small matter. I can't make the decision. I'll go back and report it to my father and see what his decision is. However, don't worry. Even if our Jin family doesn't participate in this matter, I won't leak the news. Yun Chujio also knew that Jin Ji was just a little girl and could not be the head of the Jin family, but it was still a good choice as a bridge of communication, then said, you give me a voice transmission talisman, we communicate at any time. Jin Ji had to take out a voice transmission talisman to Yun Chujio, hesitated for a moment. Still, he said, Vice Palace Master Lu is ruthless and merciless. You must be careful. If it really doesn't work out, you can think of a way to stop being the successor of the Sheng NV. If you come to Yuanping City to look for me, I can guarantee that you won't have to worry about food and clothing. Yun Chujio giggled. Then thank you for your kind intentions, Beauty Jin Ji. Don't worry, I will definitely kill that old bastard. When you go back, remember to talk to your father properly. This is a great opportunity for your Jin family to become a prominent family for 10,000 years. After this, there won't be such a shop anymore. Jin Ji glared at Yun Chujio. I got it. I'm leaving. You be careful. Jin Ji couldn't help but feel a little sour after she said that. She now vaguely understood that this was true friendship. As for the people who surrounded her earlier, they were only there because of her identity as the eldest daughter of the Jin family. There were also people like Qin Lan who harbored evil intentions. However, Chu was different from those people. Although she was full of evil intentions and her words were very irritating, people could feel that she was a partner who could really trust each other. Yun Chujio saw that Jin Ji's eyes were a little red, and her heart also felt sour. After she transmigrated, although she had two cousins, Yun Chu and Yun Chuki, she always felt that there was more kinship than friendship. As for Qin Si, because they had not spent much time together, they did not have the friendship of close friends. She did not expect that after coming to the Netherworld continent, not only did she get to know Mo Wan and the other two, but she also became friends with Jin Ji. Compared to Mo Wan and the other two, Yun Chujio felt that she was closer to Jin Ji. Although Jin Ji was arrogant, she still had a kind side to her. In fact, as long as such a person caught her eye, she would treat you well and even be a little silly. You would not feel tired when you were with such a person, because she did not care about using complicated things. Everything was on the surface. Xiao Hanio couldn't help but complain, Master, did you find a straightforward best friend because you have too many bad ideas? Jin Ji left reluctantly. Yun Chujio knew that both Vice Palace Master Lu and the Saintess were discussing the next step of the plan and couldn't care about her for the time being. Therefore, this guy took out the recliner and lay outside to bask in the sun. The next morning, without waiting for Sheng NV to make a move, Vice Palace Master Lu took action. Miss Chu, the people from Jinxiu Xian came to measure you and want to make you a few more sets of palace clothes, Ji Hua said respectfully. To be honest, she had always thought that Jin Ji would win, but she didn't expect that Lin Chu would win. Then let her come in. Yun Chujio said indifferently. Miss Chu, outsiders are not allowed to enter the Saintly Virgin Palace, so I have to trouble you to go to the other palaces in the Netherworld Palace to measure. Yun Chujia's heart moved. It was likely that the tailor-made clothes were fake. It was true that Vice Palace Master Lu, that old bastard, was beating her up. In that case, she would meet that old bastard. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.